We are just going up the highway right here, and we are going to pass basically some rainforest here on both sides. They have some waterfall up here and a lot of stuff, and there are many interesting things you can actually stop and look at on the way up, but I'm not going to do any of that today. But we are just going to stop there at the actual Pali lookout. Yeah, and we have been driving up here for a little while now, and I think we should reach the destination here in a couple of minutes. And as you can see, the road is pretty wide and nice, and it goes slowly up, and then suddenly it will go down very steeply here. I just saw a sign here. The lookout is in here to the right. You see the sign here? Pali Lookout. And I can see they are doing some kind of construction right here in the beginning. And we are coming up to a small parking lot here in a few seconds. And the first thing you need to remember when you are coming here, don't leave anything in the car when you go there, because sometimes it's a kind of a shady area, and people will or could steal what you have in the car, and that's just a regular rule here in Hawaii. Never leave anything in the car, ever. Nothing of value. Oh, you can see the wind here, by the way. Look at the trees. The wind is coming up here, so I will explain that in a second here. Let me just park. Just arrived here at the Pali Lookout parking lot. You park your car down here and you pay in the machine. It's actually a $3 parking fee here. This bus is the bigger one. They come and park down here. And this place is really a windy place. Let me go to the side here. It's really a windy place, and before I even go up there, because I know you will not be able to hear me when I'm up there screaming. So my plan here is to actually just go up there, show you the view, and then after that tell you about the place and summarize. Because if I try to talk up there, you will not be able to hear it. I can just explain why it is so noisy here. Okay, here's the thing. This place is actually located just west of Honolulu, pretty much. You are driving towards the airport on the H1 freeway. Then you make a right up to I think the number here is 61, and you go up the highway. It basically goes across the island, coming from down here. Through this pass. This is actually a giant pass, and then basically from this point it's just steep down until you come down to Kāneʻohe on the other side, and the land is all flat, as you will see in a minute here. Well, why is it windy? Well, because the trade winds are always coming from the northeast, kind of pushing down to land. And when the wind hits the land here, suddenly you have this huge wall. The mountain is just a flat, steep wall here, and the wind is pushing up. So when we are up there, the wind is just crazy. I mean, you can literally blow away, right? So come here and feel it. This is one of the windiest spots here I've ever seen here in Oahu, just because the wind is pressed up from the mountainside here. So this is the place up here. And let's talk about it. And by the way, maybe I should say that, but so what really happened here in the past is that they, well, maybe I should save it. I save it until after you have seen it, because I can feel the wind here is going to kill everything. They have some information here. You are here. Okay, this will be a quiet minute here, because it's meaningless to talk. Okay, we give it a shot here. Oh my God. And that is flying. Somebody saved it. Yeah. Thank you. Give it a push. Yeah, you got it. I will go down here and it might be more quiet. Alright, I found a relatively quiet spot here. So what really happened here? Well, in the end of 1700s, the king Kamehamea I actually took his, I think he came from the big island, and he basically launched an attack of this island here, the Oahu island, and he took thousands of his warriors or men, and they came here to the island to conquer Oahu. And they had a lot of, you know, battles, probably everywhere. I've seen numbers up to 10,000 soldiers or warriors, and that's a lot of people. Anyway, so the battle went on. Eventually, for some reason, they ended up here, which is like, it's not the top of the mountain because the top is up there, but it's high up, and the defenders of Oahu, they ended up here, pretty much here, and Kamehameha and his troops, they basically came here, surrounded hundreds of soldiers, and just pushed them down the cliffs. So eventually around I would say I've seen numbers up to 400 people were pushed down here and just died, and that pretty much ended the Battle of Oahu, which is roughly 225 years ago. And then Kamehamea I kind of controlled the entire Hawaii here, as far as I understand. Another interesting aspect is that when they built the highway on the other side here, and they finally came down here, when they actually built it or constructed the highway, they found hundreds of human skulls. I've seen some numbers, 700-800 plus of human skulls down here, and they believe most of those came from the war they had in the past, and at least many hundreds, 400 maybe, were pushed right down here, and they basically pretty much died right below here. And I guess they didn't, bury these guys, they just let them be here. So anyway, so they found that in 100 years later when they started to build the road. So that's kind of an interesting aspect of this. It's a place you come to not to stay too long, because the wind is just too powerful. It's meaning that you can't have a conversation up here unless you're hiding like I'm doing right here. But people come here, and it's definitely an interesting place. Let me go a last time to the edge and just show you the beautiful flat land below here. And trust me, the wind is not crazy down there. It's just up here because of the mountain. So let's take a look. It's a very tough job to make a video that makes sense from up here. It's just that it's such a popular place, so I kind of want to just illustrate how it looks like. And these big buses, the tourist buses, they come and they drop like 50 people, 50 tourists. They come up here, stay 2 minutes, they go back, and then drive away. So there you have it. Pali, look out, the windiest place in Oahu. It's kind of fun to feel the wind, because it's so different, right? And as you can see, we are right in between one mountain here and another mountain right here. So do the math. This is why it's so crazy, and the cliffs here are basically just very steep. It's like a wall, and that's the reason it's so crazy and windy here. Okay, I'm sitting down here. So, is it really a place you like to come and visit? Yeah, I think it is actually, because everybody goes here. It's like one of these famous viewing spots here in Oahu, and it's so easy to get here. I mean, all you need to do is to drive up and park, and you walk like 20 seconds and you have this most magnificent view. But the wind is coming in your face like a sledgehammer, so all you can do is just open your mouth and your eyes and try to breathe, right? There's nothing else you can do up there. So you stay there for a minute, you enjoy it, and you can go home and tell a story. So that's the reason you come here. If you have extra time, you actually continue the highway and you go down to Kāneʻohe and you check out that side. But you will be actually on the windward side of the island. So you can expect some rain, because the rain is coming down sometimes on that side, depending on when you are here, if it's winter or summer, things like that. So with that, I just will go back to the car and move on, because it's just too tough to make any great video up here. I hope I have something. I hope you enjoyed it, and I find a more quiet place.